everybody. This is Darren, Baby Bell here. Just kind of, we're going to start this series off. We're going to be bringing in veteran players to kind of look at and analyze Carleton and other teams' footage. For our first kind of episode, if you want to call this, we have Shaggy coming here. Introduce yourself, Shaggy.
Hi, my name is Martin, but most people in Quidditch know me as Shaggy. I played beater for U Ottawa for 5 years between 2013 and 2018, and then I played for the Otters for 2018-2019 season. I won 3 national championships, although you can debate the first one, Canada Cup, not really being one, but one in 2013, 2016, and 2019. Yeah, and I also played for Black Bears for 5 seasons. So I played quite a bit.
Hey, you played for Team Canada, right?
Yeah, that's also a thing. I was alternate on the 2014 team and played for the 2016 and 2018 teams in Germany and Italy, respectively. And I also played in Pan Am's the last summer in 2019.
Awesome. Thank you for coming and doing this for us, Shaggy.
No problem. It's
Awesome.
something to do during quarantine.
Yeah, during the quarantine. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the footage that we're going to be looking at is Carleton Ravens versus the Montreal Flamingos, the new team added to the QC this year. This is a game from the 2019 regionals up in Guelph. So let's just get it started.
And they're off. Oh, early possession by the Montreal Flamingos, getting up there steps ahead.
Stop it right there at that point. Who's number 42 on that point?
That would be Andre Allard.
Well, it's just like if you look at the beat he was trying to make, just you have to keep attention to where the beater. Usually, when you make a beat on a beater, take advantage of the fact that they aren't looking at you. If they aren't looking at you, then they can't beat you on that point. So if you look at the beat that they try and make on 45. 45 is not looking a single second.
Yeah, this guy right here?
Yeah. 45 is not looking the entire time, so you can make the easy beat on that point. If you're going for that.
Early.
Right.
Yeah, so that would be an easy beat. That's just for future. But on brooms up, don't care for BS. Focus on the quaffle on that point. Because Montreal has the quaffle and he's driving right through. That is not the time to make a beater beat. General.
Okay.
You have to go back and protect those 10 points because you can get BS back anytime. You cannot get 10 points back.
Now, in terms of this, if Andre's on, if number 42 is all the way over here, but it looks like they're driving down the right side of the field, what should he reposition back rather than going for the beat? Or should he get the quick beat and then return back?
You should return back first.
Return back first.
Yeah.
Okay. So first he goes for the beat there, and then and does miss. Should he, if he does go for that, should he have ran up a little bit closer just for the tap?
Just for like a tap, or as soon as you realize always make that beat basically at the last second where you can have that advantage on that. Like if they realize oh crap, he's coming in, then they might do a desperation throw.
Yeah.
But try to get it so that just before that point. And once you do make that beat, pick up the ball that they dropped. Because the ball that you threw could bounce anywhere. But the ball that they dropped is right at your feet, especially for tap beats.
Right. And especially in this position, I don't know about you, but in this type of I think this is our beater, second beater right here, who doesn't have a bludger. So if he's the only one that has the bludger, he should take a look around and then go back, like you said, rather than going for the beat right here. Okay.
By the Montreal Flamingos, getting up there steps ahead of the Carleton runner, and that's
what happens.
Yeah.
When I said just about beating person in the back, especially if they're not looking, that's usually when they have when your team has the quaffle.
Right. Okay.
Because look at what just happened.
Yep, and that's an early 10 points for the Flamingos.
Be an easy first point for Montreal. It's a really interesting thing that someone pointed out to me is this is really, if you have a fast enough player, that strike is really the first no-bludger situation of the game. Because the beaters are all scrambling for a ball, and unless you have an unreal fast beater, you can pretty much, if you get that quaffle fast enough, you can just go up and drop, which is a really interesting thing to point out, and I think that's the reason why we see a lot of drives off of those.
Yeah, that is smart. That's smart, especially you want to attack both beaters on the same person on that point.
The reason why we see a lot of drives off of those.
So that's how you will get BS back. And now that other beater, the beater that has the yellow ball, yes, that one.
Yep.
Now has to focus either on beater play or either quaffle play.
Right.
He can't go on both.
And
so
you have the two beaters on this side, blocking the drive on this side.
Yeah. So either you get back BS or you score 10 points, which is good. Or probably what's going to happen, probably both.
Yeah. Now, question on this. Would you, because you see how the distance in between, of the speed difference in between the two beaters here. Now, should the keeper be a little bit closer, a little bit tighter to the two beaters in front, or is this a fair amount of distance that you should have?
I would say that's about a fair amount of distance, maybe a little bit closer, but not too much. You don't want the keeper or the ball carrier to be right behind the beaters, because then the opposing beater could beat over your beaters and get still your ball chaser. You still want like a little bit of like a soft layer of protection on that point. So this distance is fine, but as soon as they start running, ball runner has to start running too, because that's when the break will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's continue with this.
Go.
Goal's no good for keeper number 9 on Carleton.
So
that offense is going to break down as the ball rolls out of bounds. It's now in the hands of the Flamingos, who are looking to bring it up to half.
'99 has been beat. That's a big dilemma.
Couldn't exactly see that because of the ref. Can you go back a bit?
Yep. No. So just the easy beat on the point chaser over there.
Yep. So that's when you need like another point chaser to come in, probably to keep the pressure up on that point, because if they just keep tapping the other beaters on. Keep tapping the point chaser and such, they can just keep walking up and walking up.
It looks like this was a 2-2-2 or a 2-2 attempt with number 99 Siba here, because we did have BS where Andre did have the ball over here.
Yeah.
From the last play. So it looks like it is a 2-2 attempt, so it's not quite a point chaser on this type of defense. Or not as Carleton runs it. We run it where it's more of a pressure towards the center, or try to get the play towards the center towards the beaters.
What you could do on 2-2s,
yeah. So in that type of situation, I know some teams, or sometimes in the past, it has been said to switch with the keeper, so that keeper comes up forward to keep that pressure going towards the center. It doesn't look like this is done at this point, and it just looks like Emily Naftal here just kind of pressures him over to the left, or to the right side, or the far side of the field in this instance. What are your thoughts on, if you know, like your thoughts on quaffle play of switching the keeper and the chaser?
I would say, based off past experience, I would probably say the chaser, because I remember a few years ago we would switch with the keeper, but during that switch of the person running back is beat and the keeper running up, that they could just essentially lob it over the keeper running up and get an easy shot at the goal, because there's no one defending that hoops anymore.
Right. But
so I would say the chaser, like I don't know where your third chaser is on the other two too, but let's say they're coming up the left side. Keep in mind, like I'm not the best coach like up there, but I would probably put like the keeper on the right side. If they're coming up left, I would probably put the keeper on like the right side until they come like close enough for a shot, and keep that other chaser on the left side. So if there is a switch, then it's a little bit more easier done. And if they start driving up or doing an easy pass, the keeper can switch over to the left and block that off.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're taking more on to the point of that it is like the point of the defense is to stop the shot rather than. Oh yeah, no, that's true. The Carleton defense as of right now.
You're still there for like if they start driving up.
Yeah. Because you have the beaters there. That's very true. Because the Carleton defense right now is that the keeper is on the side that they're driving on, to stop, to if they do get a drive through, for the keeper to step up and stop it. But I do like that point where your chaser at the back does have that shorter distance amount to switch and to move up, while still having keeper possession on defense.
Yeah, but again, I'm a beater, not a chaser on that. So I think if you keep going, I think Andre was just being a bit too aggressive while not being ready for that turn beat. That number 15, I think, from
Flamingos. Like the pink hat.
Has been beat.
Yeah,
that's a big dilemma.
Like being aggressive, like hoarding them more to that point, but as you can see, he's not like ready for a turn throw.
Yeah, he's got the ball cupped.
Yeah, so as a beater, you always got to be aware for any shot that's going to come your way. And I don't think Andre was ready for the speed that was coming in.
No.
Because then they get DS, and then I think other beater comes in, and you get a
lob pass over.
You lose BS, but at least you still have like it's still a 10-point game. It's not a 20. So that's what happens when you actually go for the quaffle play, which was the right defensive play. Again, I don't know names, but you probably did it.
The second beater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's Lex. That's Heather's little sister.
Okay.
It's crossing the half line right now as we see some very aggressive.
And then the other beater's trying to go for a beat, but then that's just a turnover. But still, beaters are creating chaos with they only have one bludger coming in, but they're creating chaos enough for your quaffle carriers to get a good scoring chance.
Near miss for Carleton.
So on like the first drive, which was their beater went for the quaffle play, and you got the S back. Now this is the exact opposite, where they're going for the beater play, and if that pass was on, was that 99? Was that Ren?
No, Ren played for Valhalla this season. That's Siba.
Yeah.
He's a rookie.
Okay, but if that pass was on Siba, he was driving in, and that was a goal.
And this is open. This is completely open because of the beater play here. Because your number 15 is chasing over for the bludger that went off of hoops, and your two beaters here. Andre's got a ball in his hand, protecting the ball for Lex to pick up. But if that was on point, that would have been 100% goal.
I would say still keep your head up. Try to still be aware if your team has the ball or not, because if Montreal keeper doesn't drop the ball right here, that's 20 points. That's another goal. So you still got to be aware of quaffle play as a beater when you're creating chaos.
Right.
Nobody behind, and that was a near miss for Carleton. That is the risk you take when you do those offensive beater plays.
So in this instance, would it be worth it to try and reset the ball and try to reestablish some sort of offense? Because rather than running it straight to the back over here, because now we got a straight line of players here.
Yeah, because that initial drive that you did got you BS, and then you can reset that back and attack with BS instead of like still scrambling through and trying to figure out everything from the spot. You can just bring it back. Now you have BS. You can go with an attack with two bludgers instead of one, and then you'll have a higher chance of scoring.
We see number 79, I believe that's Emily Naftel now coming around and taking a shot, not quite finding the hoop. And there it is. There's going to be a couple
does work out
shots,
in the
a couple
end.
misses, but finally
The
the
two
third one, Carleton finds the hoop and puts
missed passes, but it does eventually go in.
Yeah.
So a couple changes by the Flamingos here.
Got off
nice
the double
ball
male beater
coming up here for Montreal. They're going to cross half line, mobbing around their keeper, who is currently
also
in
score's
possession.
not 10-1. That's just
one
wrong.
beater protecting
Yeah,
one beater, looking to regain bludger superiority as they start to bias towards the right-hand side.
So in this instance of what I'm seeing here, because we have BS, it looks like they're trying to switch back into a sway with Emily on point on ball, and then Siba for the wing. I think this is just in types of observation. I think this is a mismatch on our point, because you're putting someone smaller on someone who is quite large, on a quite large human being, and then putting your bigger, stronger chaser onto the side. I think this is a mismatch, especially if it looked like at the initial this was looking to be a 2-2, and then Emily swings over and then which pushes Siba back here to transition into a sway defense.
So I would say like here, Lex is basically all the way at the hoops, correct?
Yeah, it appears so.
Yeah. So I would feel like at that point she's not really doing much in terms of like the defense. So maybe at that point, you could start shifting up to not exactly to where the ref is, but to start to like funnel them into the inside. Like she can move up to there, start getting the attention of like the other beater, just to give more of an opening for like Andre or any other beater to start to drive in case there's like a double beat or anything like that.
Right. So do more of like a round around here.
Yeah, like if you keep like wrapping them around, you start to split the attention of their offense, where they both have to look like in front of them where Andre is and to the side where Lex is, because they don't know where that beat's first going to come. Of course, keep in mind that they can make the first attack, and you got to be ready for that. But it's harder for them. They have to look two different ways instead of just one.
Right.
Very good beat by Carleton is going to have the offense break down. 26 is all alone, gets beat out. We're going to see a fast break
coming. That one just drive. Go back a bit.
Yep. It looks like it's a misbeat by Lex.
They called it a beat there still, I think, right here. Yeah. They still called it a beat because he dropped it.
Oh, yeah. They did still call it a beat.
And at that point, your chaser, Max, has to realize that he's driving in on like 4 people. That's not going to work on that point, especially if they have the other bludger right there on the right side.
Right.
All the way to the right.
26
I'm just basing off your mouse. And then you see Max is now driving on 2 bludgers and like 2 other chasers behind that.
Yep. And you're one beater who has a bludger behind you.
Yes. Like, it's good that Andre is following the play and trying to save whatever is going to happen, but at that point, he should probably be saying, no, come back, we'll make an actual attack here. Because I'm assuming, I haven't seen this, but I'm assuming that Max is going to get beat, and that's going to be a turnover.
And we're going to see a fast break coming.
Or just a
very good idea shooting it.
Or just like a mid shot.
From the peripheral.
Yep.
But I believe was the
another switch by Flamingos.
Montreal
I think that's 2 switches from Flamingos, and I think there was Heather on the initial brooms up who switched out for Lex, so it's 2-1 in terms of rotations. And it looks like Carleton still got the No, it still has the same line.
By 64.
That's 1.5 on that
With the drive towards the hoop.
Great block.
But it is blocked by the Flamingos.
See, keep it safe on that point. That's when you should say like, yeah, that's a good side.
Yep. So a whole new beater line. The Black Toque, that is Miro. He's one of our rookies this year, and his beater partner, also in a Black Toque, is Madison.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Carleton crossing
Yap
the half line, taking plenty
on
of
the
time,
on
being
the
nice
left
and
with
patient
Quaffle.
throughout
Yeah,
this play. You
Yeah,
see number
West
4
and
is
then
looking for
Sipa
options.
still.
There are a couple people out there trying to get open. As we see
That
a
right
little
there,
bit
you
of
still got to attack both of them at the same time. You see Madison went for the beater, and what was it? Save me on the name here.
Miro
stayed back. You still got to both attack at the same time on that point.
Right.
is going to take away some of the initial.
So just a little bit too passive on that point.
Yeah, because now it seemed to have it seemed to have worked out. I think. Like keep it playing.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful! Takes away a
Now
little bit of the initial
then they got all beat. Yeah.
And a beautiful blocked beat by number 4 is
now
they can just run it
still a
right up
goal.
and take the
But
shot.
I'm assuming Montreal's
Thankfully,
just rise it up
another very
right now.
chaser on the other side
Yeah,
is
because
able
it's
to
a
get the
no
rebound
beater.
and put it in.
Yep.
That's going to put the Ravens up in this game, as now Montreal's going to have to look to.
Okay.
That's just a missed shot, but that would have been that should have been a goal.
In the zone of the Ravens, and that's going
So
to
I
be
think
no
the
goal on the play.
big thing is just to attack both at the same time, because if there's a double beat, the other beater is right there to pick up both balls.
Right.
See what 66 is doing. That's what I was talking about, because that puts pressure on West to make a pass, and he can't do anything because
He's splitting that attention. Good that he saw it though. Like that just proves his IQ.
It's a smart play to throw it away to make sure the turnover is on the complete other side than right at the half where it's an easy play.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to mention was probably if they start doing that loop, you still got to have a beater, probably be one without a bludger to prevent this around. Madison, I think, doesn't have the ball, so
despite
be
the conditions
guarding
for the
66
Flamingos
right
on
here.
that play. And we see, a sneaky beater from the Flamingos coming in from behind, attacking from the rear. We're going to see this whole offense is going to break down because of that beater.
That's what I'm saying with the entire split attack, because now West can't do anything, and beaters we're a little bit discombobulated and try to figure out how to defend against that.
Right.
So it does work if you can put a lot of pressure on.
Two defenders, neither of them has a bludger. Wraps around the keeper and is able to put it through that short hoop for 10 points up. Flamingos regain their lead.
Back that up a bit. Back that up. No. Forward about 5-10 seconds. Right around the point they scored. Play it.
Neither of them has a bludger.
Look at Miko, I think it is. Miko's going to be running from the right side.
Here?
He's going to be appearing from the right side of the screen. He's currently off screen.
Right.
So, play it.
Wraps around the keeper.
At that point, he's just letting that other beater just walk by.
Regain their lead.
Make that beat. The play isn't over as soon as they score. Beaters don't take breaks. He could have made a beat on 66. If he misses, it's back to his hoops, and you still have Quaffle. If you make that beat, you get BS back. Take it. Beaters do not take a break, even if they score or not.
The Ravens have re-entered with the Quaffle and are
It looks like Heather has subbed in.
Yeah.
I think.
No, you still got to defend that.
And
That's the
66.
problem with
Carleton Chaser, but a big beat has put a wrench in that, and a
66 taking out 3 people by doing the swing around method, and again making a no beater drive.
Mm-hmm.
20 to 40
So I think that's the problem there. I was just thinking maybe I think Heather was being a little bit too aggressive on that point. Once 66 starts moving around, I think you still have to give him that space, just because where Heather was when she got beat, Mika could not save her at any point.
Yeah, I can bring it back. I'll bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. So play it.
So here's Heather coming for the 66 to try to defend.
Yeah, so you can still have to look at that, but there's a big distance there
in between Heather and Miro.
Yeah, because if Miro was a little bit closer on that, 66 would be a little bit more hesitant to make that beat, or just because Miro could have a shot at 66 right here, get BS back, and go. and then you can regroup and attack. But because of the spacing, because of the huge amount of space, he has a lot of time to beat out Heather, beat out, I'm assuming, Cody, and then Max coming in on the side, and then just keep beating out everyone until Haley doesn't have anyone else to pass to.
And especially with their second beater, with Flamingo's second beater being way back here, playing passively.
Yeah.
It's only the one beater.
Yeah.
That is actually doing all of this. And look at their distancing. So if he would just come over here, you would have the two beater on one, where even if he beats out Heather, you could still beat him out and you would get BS back.
Yeah, because that we still have like time to throw back a ball and grab one and keep attacking, because either the female beater on Montreal's side either has to stop Haley driving in, or Cody or Max, because they wouldn't be beat because of that.
Right.
Or she has to go all the way to half field to try to defend BS, but then you get an easy point.
Which would be an easy drive down the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Up to half.
So continuing on, Cody gets beat out, and then
Cody gets beat. Haley doesn't have anyone else.
But a big beat.
Yep.
Has put
and
a
then
wrench in
Miro
that,
tries to make a
breakaway by the
desperation
Flamingos is sending
beat,
it down
and
the
then just
pitch.
it goes
And
to
one swift movement and a spin and a twist, and that ball is in the hoop, bringing the score to 20.
Now, this is the play where Miro, when he was coming back, could have hit could have hit the beater. Yeah, could have hit him coming back. Do you think that would have prevented this from happening?
It would not have prevented the beat from happening. It would not have prevented 66 from playing aggressive on that point, but at least you're getting BS back, so it doesn't happen on the next play or anything like that. So you can have a little bit more chance to swing the momentum back to your side.
Right. I was just thinking because he had the ball, and if he beat him out, and then he tossed ball back to Heather, and then grabbed the second ball, it would have stopped Flamingos having BS, and therefore being able to swing from the side. Or do you think they would have transferred bludger control to 66 to bring it around the side again, while having the beater with no bludger staying back passively?
No. You only do the swing around when you have BS. Because if you start swinging around like 66 on that point, there's no one defending just both your beaters just driving up on the opposite side and just beating out everyone.
Yeah.
And as soon as 66 has time to come around, then you'll notice and have time to defend against that. Why it's working on this point is because Carleton's beaters only have one ball. So they can't just have the opportunity to drive up because it's still a beater plus all the other chasers.
Okay. Now, curious question on this point. From a coach's perspective, if we're looking at this, and we're looking at the different ball possessions where Carleton and Flamingos were tied at 10, 10-10, and then we were tied at 20-20, and now we've seen the last few ball possessions in which there have been a few shots that should have gone in but didn't, and we were lucky on that by Flamingos. Now, in this terms of aspect, would you call, when is the right time to call a beater off or a player off in this type of aspect, like in this type of situation?
Like, I think, like, I don't think the game is out of control at that point. It's essentially, oh man, I'm not good at this aspect. I think it's just I think it's right around the point where you see them making the same mistakes.
Okay.
Like a couple of times. Like if they make one mistake, they should know, and then just like they can correct it themselves. But you see them making the same mistake again, that's probably the best time to call them off, switch them off, and while they're on the bench, like talk about that and see what they can do better to fix that mistake so it doesn't happen again the second time they come back around, or even in future games.
So is that also the responsibility of, like, do you yourself, when you're playing Shaggy, if you don't have a good shift,
I switch out.
You switch out?
I switch out.
Is that like is that more of a personal decision, or on like percentage wise? what percentage is somebody calls you off and when you're having a bad shift, or is it more so you call yourself out on having a bad shift and switching off to regroup?
I think about 80-20. I think 80-20, 80 being me knowing I'm having a bad shift and switching off. Right. The other 20% is just like probably seeker beating or something, and then just like, no, I gotta stay on, but clearly I'm tired or I'm making mistakes on that point.
And you're not at full 100%, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Where me at like being tired and such is not better than the next beater up at full strength.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue on with the footage.
Beating strategy that the Flamingos coming around, sneaking around one of their beaters. It only works when they have BS, bludger superiority. That is.
Like, see, even the commentator just said they only do that when they have BS.
So they can attack from behind. Is very crafty and has been broken down the past to Carleton.
See, that's why like
Carleton can come up with a solution.
At least they're making the drive up forward on
pass is going to potentially be.
Okay, pause it there.
Yep.
Did they bring it back like about a little bit, like 5 seconds more, and then play it again.
It's very crafty.
So number 2 coming around and doing the sweep around the side.
On that point, like that's a good beat, and then your ball chasers have to immediately follow that up. They cannot just like wait. They have to keep following that.
It looks like he goes for the pass. Like he goes for.
Yeah, that goes for the pass on that.
But
right?
I think it's just
and it looks like a deep pass is going to potentially be that. As you see Cody Rennick go and take a shot, and that's going to
okay. Yeah, go back.
Yep.
So right here, so play it again, and I'm going to focus on, is it Heather?
Yeah, Heather's up here.
Yeah, so Heather has the time to throw a ball back and grab the other one, but instead she just grabs the red one and starts running the other way.
With a solution for it.
Yeah.
And it looks like a deep pass.
Yeah.
Could have
you have
retrieved.
to pick up that red one and start to try to get BS back still on that point. What you could probably do is back up another 5 seconds.
Yep.
So play it and
let's see if Carleton can
keep going. Pause. So what you could probably do is grab the red one, keep the ball in your hand until you're right next to the yellow one, just in case you need to make a beat on the returning Montreal beater, number 15 with the pink toque. So then you will still like have possession on that, and then you have time to look like, does my other beater have a ball? No, I can throw it back just to avoid any like third bludger rule nonsense.
Right.
But you can like keep the ball and make sure that you have time or a weapon to defend that other ball so you can get that too, instead of just picking up the red one, saying my job is done, running back.
Right.
So play it for like another second.
Yep.
Solution for it.
Another second.
And it looks like
so at that point, you could probably grab the red one, and then you can defend the yellow bludger from number 15 who's trying to get it back. So then you can probably make a beat on him or something, throw the other ball back, pick up the second one, and then you actually have time to get BS back. It gives more time for the defense.
Right. And in
it
terms
gets more
of
time for the offense.
And with the second beater, Miro back here, is there anything that he can do against the number, I think it's number 2, beater driving along the sides?
I think first try to not let them get past you, but if it comes to this situation, I would say just try your best to get as close to him as you can and try to swipe the ball out from that point.
Try to strip it.
Try to strip it.
Okay.
Because again, that person is focused on the person's focusing on making the beat on the Quaffle player instead of like the beater that's coming up from behind you.
Right.
Potentially be that, as you see
and he slows down to try to make that make that beat. So that would have been a perfect chance to swipe.
Everyone knows in Quidditch, if it's not more than 3, it doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. So we are very close this game.
Very good matchup with these two teams. I think they're.
So really, the difference here that I see just because of the points is just the how to defend against the loop around.
Right. Now, defending against the loop around, when they have BS, is that so what we've gone over so far is stay closer together.
Mm-hmm.
but still allowing that cushion room so you can't just beat the quaffle player from above for the overbeat. In that type of instance, if they have BS, let's say they do the sweep around the side, and then no bludger beater for Carleton goes for the tackle, or goes to disrupt the swipe around beater.
The no bludger beater should probably be on the undefended loop around beater that's coming around.
Yeah. Now in this instance, say Heather goes. Say in the last one, like Heather goes for the tackle, and Miro should. Now say Miro goes to beat out the beater that Heather is tackling, the sweep around beater. Should the Flamingos beater for the second BS start pressuring on the quaffle player for Carleton?
It's tough to say. Like, I'm trying to just get the visual in my mind. I think like Heather should be defending the non-bludger, the loop around beater. That's fine. You should really be the other beater, the other offensive beater, the other Montreal beater is gonna start putting up more pressure on the quaffle player and the beater. I think probably more on the beater himself.
Okay. So
I think because you could probably get around a chaser with a pass or breaking a tackle. It's much harder to get around a beater.
Right. Okay.
Because beaters, as I've learned, are just assholes. So like, they're the worst. It's much easier. Like if you take around beaters on that, it's just like a ball and then start passing around, and then you can start breaking tackles that way. But a beater just makes everything more complicated. So I would think that if it's a one-on-one thing, you could always, if you make that beat and you lose BS, you get 10 points. If it means sacrificing BS to get 10 points, do it every time, because you can always get BS back.
Right. That's a good point.
Hands of the keeper on the Flamingos. We're going to see a little bit of aggression coming from Carleton. Going to get covered by the beaters. Oh, as a near snipe comes out, it's going to get offloaded by the Flamingos very quickly. Picked up by Emily Naftel. And it looks like... No, sorry, not by Emily Naftel. She plays for the other team. Sorry, Emily.
Flamingos maintaining BS at this point.
Sorry. Anyway, that offense breaks down for the Flamingos. Good defense by Carleton to shut that down as they now come into possession and are looking to cross the center line.
Mira should be falling.
Oh, we see here's the opportunity. Seeing a little bit of grass.
It might be in terms of fatigue because he's been on for a lot of shifts.
But it's going to get recovered by number 99. No, it's not. That's a beautiful beat coming out from the Flamingos. It's going to go out of bounds, and that's going to be a Flamingo ball.
Is that ours? Yeah, that is.
Like if you can't run on the field, get off the field. All right.
Beautiful crossing pass to number 8. Unfortunately, a bit of a fumble is going to go on the ground, but it's still in the hands of the Flamingos. It's going to go over to number 4, who's going to be able to recover. Immediate pressure from the keeper.
Good. Heather's going to come back and
recover that quaffle. There's a call on the play.
So I think I missed like the first part of that attack.
Do you want to go back?
But it's still in
that's fine. Yeah, let's go.
Beautiful
go back.
Crossing pass to number 8.
A little bit more. Okay.
Let's go to the start of this.
Yeah.
Heather tries going for the grab on the beat.
Okay, that's what went wrong. Okay, go back. So look at Mira right here. It's just the way that. So what they're doing is a 1.5, and I like the way that Flamingos do 1.5. It's the same way that I did it since like 2016. Essentially, you have the first person beat out hard the non-bludger beater, like what Pink Toque guy is doing to Heather. And if Heather makes the catch, you have the other Montreal beater that's able to make a beat on her.
Right,
so you
right
can
behind over here.
Back. But what's going to happen more often is that you make the beat, they don't catch it, it bounces back towards your own side. So then So then you don't have to like worry about a 1.5 where you still have to worry about that non-bludger beater. You just have a straight run up.
Oh, that's a smart 1.5.
Yeah,
Rather
so
than
you
just
have
throwing it back, you're utilizing beating out your opponent and utilizing the bounce back.
Yeah, and then you're still using your momentum from your throw into just straight dashing into a tackle to the beater in the back.
Which he does here, and he throws it back.
Beautiful crossing
So
pass to number 8.
that's the problem on that. So instead of like going for legs, which is like a lot of swinging, because of the swinging legs action, you can just like kick it anywhere. Rebound control, what I like is just like either when they're gonna go up and tackle you, you can probably just like sidestep. You probably just like sidestep and just start moving your legs and go around them. Because typically when beaters tackle, they always like have an arm extended, so it's tough to show just like through me describing it.
Yeah, they like bring their arm up and try to disrupt the arm that has the bludger.
Yeah, so they try to like tackle you from like let's say they have like their right arm up.
Yep.
So you can just kind of just move. If you move towards the left, you're gonna hit their. If you move to your right, away from their arm, it's just gonna bounce. You're just gonna hit like person to person. That's gonna not go in. If you start moving like towards more the edge of their arm as they extend it, you can kind of just like spin around it because they can't have like a good grip on it.
Right.
It's hard for me to describe on that point. Like but that's for another thing. So essentially, just try to like move around instead of like make a beat. If you have to make a beat, I would say just like either like probably the top of the head or just like the top of the back, because then you don't have to like worry about like legs kicking and such. It's a lot tougher to dodge a ball that's just like going right on top of your head or like at the or like try catching a ball that's going toward your back. It's pretty difficult, but you can just like swing your arm over their head, just make the quick tap beat on the back, and the ball's still gonna like stay right there for you. And then you can still like try to defend the 1.5 if you have to make a beat on that person. But instead, they just try to like swing it, try to make a desperation beat in towards the legs, misses, and then that leads to a penalty, as we see.
All right, continuing on. Three bludgers on Flamingo side.
A bit of a fumble is going to go on the ground, but it's still
Back
in the
to
hands of the Flamingos.
get your
It's going to go
arm
over
up.
to number 4, who's going to be able
Always
to cover.
get that fist community, and then
From the keeper, who is
throw it
going
back to Heather, smoke play.
and recover that quaffle. There's a call on the play on that.
I would say Mira has to sub.
Unfortunate injury, but it looked to me since it's always best time you see people happens. While we wait, Summer, do you have any comments you'd like to make on the game so far?
I'm really liking what I've seen so
is
far. I
only
think
eight
these teams are
minutes,
very
a long
evenly
game.
matched.
All
It's
right.
really interesting to be able to see two teams.
Situations that may be some sort of a head, neck, and spinal. Just
I'm
off
guessing
the pitch
injury.
on their own power.
Yep,
We'll
injury.
be getting back to the game.
Move it forward a bit. All right.
So that's going to be a yellow card for number 9 on the on Carleton for a contact.
So now we're going into a power play situation where your main defender is now off.
Or until your
Sorry?
team is scored on.
The penalty kill, I think.
Yeah, sorry.
So if this
Yeah, my
specific
bad.
player gets
I
a
meant
second yellow card this
penalty
game,
kill.
it will upgrade to a red card. They'll get a 2-minute uninterrupted penalty and then be ejected from the game. That's how the card system works in Quidditch.
Jump
We
on
are now
that.
back
Oh man,
in
you
the
got
action.
you got
Number
jump
7
on
with a
that.
nice kick. That's how the card system
I think
works
that's a
in
double
Quidditch as
kick.
we are now back
No,
in the
that's
action.
not.
We see number 7
No.
with a nice kick, bringing it over and resetting the ball.
He hit it with his
looking
hand.
to start
Yeah.
a new
Yeah,
offense.
that's fine.
There's the midline that they are afforded, and crossing now.
So trying to pause this on our beater, Andre, it looks like, is on this side.
Is it only Andre that has the ball? Like Carleton does not have BS at this point, do they?
No, BS is still with Flamingos. I think there's a bludger here, and I don't know where the third one is. I don't know where the yellow bludger is.
Just one thing I'm noticing from Carleton right now is that there's no one guarding like shorter hoops. Everyone's on the one half of the pitch now.
Everyone's kind of like bunched up over on this side.
Yeah. I think Andre has the time to actually step up, because if they try to make a pass towards like any half and towards the other half, if you have someone like defending that person, there should be enough time to intercept that ball or break it up at least. So try to make them force the shot a little bit deeper on that point.
Yep.
Big on.
And bringing and just making, and it looks like if this is Andre, that means that this will be the third line that Mira will be on. First with Madison, then with Heather, and now with Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mira has to defend 15 from.
Yeah, from beating out.
Or maybe to beat on Andre.
Yeah, because that's where his attention is looking at, right about here.
Mm-hmm.
How long is a usual beater shift?
I try to go for like 3 drives up and down.
3 drives up and down. Okay, because
that's typically what I go for.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is usually like a 3-4 minutes of play.
Okay. Because I was listening to like to the States, and like you know how like Team USA likes to keep their A line like out a lot longer and try to play a more efficient sort of game. And then only take off their main line for like a couple minutes for their second or third line, and then bring them back out again.
That is fine. That's like probably some of the top teams in the States where they have some of the best endurance, and like their systems are so in place that they work efficiently and not technically harder, even though they work hard. It's again just for the initial level. I think you still want like everyone to still get like a rhythm and play.
Oh yeah.
Point. So. I feel like if you just run like a 2 or 3 times, like if you want, you can probably keep your top beaters up for like a little bit longer, and then short shift the other beating pairs. But keep in mind that there's also snitch play that comes in, and then you want more of that energy to come in then.
Right.
So it's entirely just a game of preserving the energy for when you think you need it most.
Okay.
And most of the times when it comes to like games like this, when it's a close game or a snitch range, you need to preserve it for the snitch game.
Right. Because
a mistake there, or you start to get tired there, that's when they catch.
So, do you prefer? So even in like for Team Canada and if you look at like time on pitch, like when I was looking by watching video for last summer, the switching, the amount of substitutions that Canada made were a lot more than Team USA. Now, I'm just the reason why I brought this up was, do you value the more hockey type of substitutions where it's more quicker switches, quicker pace, so you go up for that 2 or 3 shifts and then or 2 or 3 ball possessions and then sub off, or when you're at that type of level, do you prefer when you're at that higher type of level to put your A line a little bit longer when you have access to those people who are athletic and have the like endurance or at that level of athleticism?
I would say like if at that level you keep it up long, you keep your top lines longer on because they can probably be a bit longer. I usually don't stay on because I have asthma, so even if I start running like all over the place, I can get tired out pretty quick. But even the thing with the States was that's when you see like I'm having a bad shift. If I keep on, I'm going to play worse, or it's going to do worse than my mental state for the next time I go on.
For the next game.
For the next game, or even the next shift that you have to go on, because you don't want like your entire morale to just get dropped and then you start playing worse. Then that's when really it starts piling on. So it's a balance. I value more the hockey aspect because that's what I played for 10 years in school. So I just prefer like constantly like switching up because again, if you're like 70%, your next beater up who's at 100% could probably be better.
And I think that's really a mentality difference in between like Team USA and Team Canada in terms of our like coaching by switching the substitutions is because of the
think-
sports playing when you were younger, right?
Yeah, but I think just at that point was also like, hey, this line isn't working. Let's try something different.
Right.
At that point, because again, against the States. But if you look at the other games we played against Team Canada West or Team Mexico, we were able to stay on a bit longer compared to the States, where it's just like, this isn't working, switch it up. This isn't working, switch it up. This is kind of working. Let's keep this up. Okay, now it's not working, switch it up. Or it's just people getting tired. So
Okay.
it's just depending on the game and situation. Keep it playing.
It depends on the situation and coach's decision, player's decision. There's a lot of factors involved.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Evans gonna have a crossing
That was just
pass,
a
and it's
curious
gonna
question
get
that I
tipped
had
just out of
to
the hands
pick your
of the
brain a little
receiver,
bit.
as number 99 is
That's
now gonna
also
jump
like
on and
the thing, like
recover
if
for Carleton.
yeah, someone had to defend that short hoop, because if that was Robin, catch, score.
Yeah, 100% of the time.
You always got to keep that in mind.
Now in the hands of chaser number 99 for Carleton, coming